One day the color drains, the bed becomes an altar of stone. You are breathing, but nothing in you wants to move. The room is the same. Your life is the same. But something in you has sunk underground. They tell you it is a glitch, a broken brain, a personal failure, a lack of gratitude, a problem to be fixed fast. But an older voice disagrees. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. The deeper that sorrow carves into you, the more joy you can contain. Those words were written long before influencers, long before diagnosis memes, by a poet watching people break. So what if your depression is not proof that you are empty, but proof that you feel too much? In a civilization that refuses to feel at all, what if this is not laziness, not weakness, but an ancient descent, running on nervous systems that never signed the contract? This is the sickness of modernity. The underworld still exists. The descent still happens. But the guides were fired. The temple was demolished. The myths were forgotten. And when you fall through the floor now, you get a search bar and a prescription and silence. Depression is not simple. Bodies are involved. Brains are involved. Trauma is involved. Sometimes medicine is needed. Sometimes it keeps you alive. This video does not replace that. If your mind is flirting with self-destruction, you do not need symbolism right now. You need an actual human voice. Helplines, therapists, friends. Use them. The underworld is not meant to be walked alone. But if you are still here, and you recognize the gray, I want to show you something. Not a cure, not a ritual hack. A map. For a very long time. Before we had the word depression, we had other words. We had gods of sorrow. We had underworld queens. We had trials beneath the earth. Kahlil Gibran wrote it plainly. Your joy is your sorrow unmasked. The same well that holds your laughter was once filled with your tears. Sorrow carves a deeper space in you. Joy only floods what sorrow hollowed. So feeling deeply is not a defect, it is capacity. It is volume. Carl Jung saw it as a figure. He said depression is like a woman in black. She enters your house uninvited. If you shoo her away, she becomes your enemy. If you sit her down and listen, she may tell you why she came. The symptom speaks. The heaviness has a message, even if that message is tangled and cruel. In older myths, the descent was expected. Inanna goes down and is stripped of her symbols. Persephone falls into the dark and becomes queen. Heroes vanish into caves and tombs and labyrinths. They lose their names. They are torn apart. They return marked, changed, linked to death forever. In shamanic traditions, the sick one sometimes became the healer. They shook. They saw visions. They broke from ordinary life. The community did not always sedate them. Sometimes it said, "You are being taken apart by the spirits. If you survive this, you will serve us. You will bridge two worlds." I am not romanticizing hell. Many never make it back. Some need medication. Some need hospital walls. But the pattern exists. Descent, ordeal, return. So what happens when that ancient pattern plays out? Inside a civilization with no rights, no elders, no shared language for the underworld, inside your mind, it starts quietly. One morning, the floor of your life feels thinner. You open your eyes. The thought lands first. What is the point? Nothing has changed in the room, but the meaning has melted. The voice in your head changes tone. It used to be a running commentary. Now it is a prosecutor. You are lazy. You are failing. Everyone is moving ahead without you. You had time. You wasted it. You will never catch up. The distance between who you thought you were and what you can actually do becomes a kind of wound. You watch yourself miss basic tasks. Dishes rot. Messages go unanswered. Showers are skipped. Every small failure becomes a cosmic verdict. See? I knew it. You are nothing. You feel too much about the wrong things. You are flooded by shame, but numb to joy. You want to cry, but the tears are locked behind glass. You want to move, but the body feels like wet cement from the inside. It does not feel like a myth. It feels like a malfunction, a private humiliation, a slow erasure of self. I am not here to tell you it is beautiful. I am here to tell you it has a shape. And that shape is older than you. Older than psychology. Older than this economy that is grinding you down. So let me draw it. Not as advice, not as steps, just as a map. If it fits you, fine. If it does not, leave it. Stage 1, the call or the collapse. Maybe there was a trigger, a loss, a breakup, a failure, a slow drip of stress, or maybe nothing obvious happened. You just stopped being able to carry the weight. The body dropped the curtain. Energy vanished. The spark went out. Stage 2. The descent. Sleep breaks. Days blur. You pull away from people. You cancel plans. You stare at ceilings. You scroll and feel nothing. Or worse than nothing. You feel separate, behind glass. Time feels wrong. Too slow, too fast. Not yours. Stage 3. The confrontation. Thoughts attack. You replay every mistake, every humiliation, every almost. The inner judge speaks in absolutes. Always. Never. Everyone. No one. You argue with it. You lose. The underworld throws your entire history at you and whispers, "This is who you really are." Stage 4. The dead zone. This is not dramatic despair. This is cardboard. Food is cardboard. Music is cardboard. Success is cardboard. Friends feel far away even in the room. You are not even sure you want to die. You just cannot remember wanting anything. Stage 5. The thread. In myth, this is where something tiny appears. A guide, a rope, a word, a symbol. In real life, it might be a line in a book, a piece of art, a song, a conversation, a sentence in a video, something that does not sound like the prosecutor, something that hints. Maybe this is not the whole story. I am not calling that hope. Hope is fragile. I am calling it a thread. Threads can be dropped. Threads can break. But they mean one thing. You are not alone in this pattern. Others have walked it. Others have mapped it. Others have crawled back out. None of this turns depression into a gift. Suffering is not a present. You do not owe gratitude to your pain. But there is a difference between suffering as random punishment and suffering as weather in a larger landscape. You might say, is this not just chemistry? Is this not just genetics and stress? Yes, completely. Your brain is part of this. Your body is part of this. Balancing those things matters. Get help where you can. Do not let anyone shame you for that. What I am adding is not a replacement. It is a layer. When the storm finally eases, you will look back and tell yourself a story. Do not let that story be. I broke because I was weak. Let it be. I broke because something in me refused to keep marching toward a life that felt like a lie. You might also say, mine does not feel like an initiation. It just feels pointless and cruel. And I will not argue. Pointless. Cruel. That is exactly how an initiation feels when the culture has burned the temple down. When there are no elders to frame it. When nobody around you knows the myth. The sickness of modernity is not that humans crack. Humans have always cracked. The sickness is that we act surprised. We blame individuals for collapsing. Under weights, no nervous system was built to carry alone. We tell them to be resilient. Then hand them a glowing rectangle full of other lives, other bodies, other successes, and call it connection. So if you are one of the ones who feels too much, if you have been told you are too sensitive, too dramatic, too intense, if your sorrow goes all the way down, remember, Gibran, the deeper sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Right now, your vessel may feel shattered. It may feel like nothing good could ever fill it. I am not here to promise that it will. I am here to remind you. Depth is not a defect. If you are near the edge, turn this off. Call someone. Walk into an emergency room. Send the message you keep deleting. You are not meant to carry this alone. If you are not on the edge, but you recognize yourself in these rooms, know this: you are not a malfunction. You are a feeling animal, living in an unfeeling machine. Learn the pattern. Name the figures. Do not worship your depression. Do not make it your identity. But do not waste energy pretending it is meaningless either. This channel is for people like you, the ones who cannot stop feeling, the ones who see the cracks. If you want more maps of the underworld, more language for what nobody taught you to name, subscribe. Stay close. And if tonight gets darker than you can handle, forget this video. Reach for a real voice. The underworld will still be here tomorrow. You do not have to face it alone. If this video shifted something in your mind, you're ready for the next level. Download my free ritual guide in the description. No catch, just pure psychological alchemy you can use tonight. If you want to go deeper, hit the initiation playlist. It's your step-by-step journey into breaking unconscious patterns and mastering your own mind. Both links are waiting below. Your transformation starts now. Until next time.